Welcome everybody. So 2 weeks ago, we started a unit on using nature as our inspiration. I'm finding myself so inspired by springtime and so uplifted by it. And we started with Earth, and we will continue with Earth today. Last time, we were talking about our innate belonging as children of the Earth. And this week we continue with the earth element by acknowledging the stability that comes from that natural belonging and from just having earth beneath us all the time. So I have had a few weeks of just wildness at home, like lots of solo parenting time, lots of changing schedules, lots of appointments at the end of March. And that's a lot for me. I don't like change very much. I like consistency. And so what I was finding was I was, getting kind of stirred up by it. And so it was so useful to me to go outside. So go outside and sit for meditation. And that was really calming, settling. That felt really good. But then what I found was what felt even better was when I would stand up and just walk barefoot in my yard. And I have this one corner of my yard where there is moss. And the camellia petals fall on it, and it's like luscious to walk on this because it's walking on flower petals and soft moss. And that standing on the earth just gave me such a sense of ground, such a sense of, okay, I'm stable here. I can go from here into now this appointment or this driving or all these things that are needing to happen. And that's, that ground, it's like a ground up belonging and stability that comes when we're on the earth. So the earth is incredibly stable. Her size and the gravity make it impossible for us to just go floating off into space, which is great because I like being here. And that's really reassuring, particularly in times when you may be worried or anxious, because anxiety, worry sends our energy up in our body. So when we can get more grounded, more connected to the earth, and we're thinking about the lower body, it helps to diminish feelings of anxiety and being keyed up, we could say. So in yoga, our bodies are also made from the same stuff as earth. We have the same elements within us. And so when we come back into our bodies, there can be that same feeling of, oh, I'm more stable, I'm more grounded, more connected now. In yoga and even walking around in life, we can draw from the stability of the earth up into our earthy bodies. And as you know, because you've practiced yoga before, it creates a kind of mental stability, a kind of emotional stability, a kind of even a spiritual kind of stability where we're more connected. We can feel it like in a balancing posture when we can feel the relationship to the earth coming up through the leg into the pelvis. Suddenly there's something different happening. We feel stable, certainly physically, but on all levels. And we feel like it's a different way to be in relationship to life versus being up here and sort of out all the time. So the idea, though, is to get in touch with stability, to know stability in our bodies, but not to grasp at it. That's the hard part, I think, for me and maybe for others too, because that's what I want. It feels really good to be stable, but it can get you kind of rigid and locked in place. A joint that's too stable, right, can create injury in other places. And so we want to be able to move with it. So being in stability without grasping at it. And that is really what allows you to be in life, right? To be stable within yourself amidst all the instability that's happening, all the time in your life. I don't know anybody's life that is just very simple and clean. So it's that's it. So we're working with getting stable, getting grounded, also being stable and grounded in our own hearts when life is tricky. And so connecting with that innate belonging again, that is stable and unchanging, so that you can lean into that and let that help you to stay open even when things are unstable or changing a lot. And that's why we practice, right? So that we can connect with belonging, we can connect with stability, connect with our hearts, no matter what else is happening. So take a good seat. Turn your inner thighs down towards the mat. And then before you even close your eyes, or as you are closing your eyes, bring your attention to your sitting bones. So however your sitting bones are connecting with the blanket or block or floor beneath you. And as you feel that, now close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and breathe all the way down to the sitting bones. And as you exhale, let them settle a little more towards the mat. Beneath the sitting bones, beneath the blanket, beneath the mat, beneath the foundation of wherever you are, there is earth holding all of it. And it's very stable. It's not waving, moving, flowing, anything like that. We have deep stability. So now from that connection to earth, soften back into the back. You just slightly move back. The body is made to transfer the stability of earth all the way up through your spine. And then do that. Lengthen up through your spine. Heads of the arm bones lift and draw back. Feeling the ease and stability within the body. Welcome your breath. Notice your breath. We want breath to be stable but moving, right? Steady and easy. And that means it moves. Then draw into your heart. There may be chaos or instability around your heart, outside of your heart, swirling in your heart or mind. Go deeper. Go into the center, which is unchanging. And full of unconditional love and support and stability for you. So touching into this deepest part, now join your palms in front of you. Stable connection between the palms. Form your intention for this practice. We'll chant 3 rounds of Om. Follow that with the Shiva invocation in the old tune. So welcome your in-breath. Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Bow deeply inwards to the stability in your own heart. Release your hands to your thighs. Lift your head slowly up. Excellent. You can open your eyes. So we're going to start on our backs, much like we did the last week. And you'll need a strap and also bring your blanket nearby. We'll set that up as well. So for your blanket, it would be useful, or even it may be useful to have blocks. If you're tighter in your hips, have 2 blocks that you place just near the back of the mat. For the blanket, I'd love for you to roll up the blanket. So you get like a good little roll. It could be folded as well, your choice, but The roll will be useful. And then the roll goes at the back of the mat and off the mat, but I want us to be able to get moving. We're not going to use it right away, but I want us to get moving, and then it's there and we don't have to stop to fix it up. Yes, so once you have that, strap close by, come down on your back. Am I sitting on the bottom of the screen? No, I'm good. Okay. So coming down onto your back, bend your knees, bring your feet flat to the mat. Take a deep breath. And just feel the places that are in contact with earth and how stabilizing that can feel, especially if you had any, drama this morning, Sunday morning drama, not unheard of, especially if you live with any other being. Allow your hips to become heavier, your pelvis just softening down into the floor, and then hover your right knee off the mat and clasp behind your right thigh, knee towards your chest. And you all always know that I'm never worried about your knee actually pressing onto your chest. That's just a general direction. And then find the earth in the hip socket. So right thigh bone, allow the femur bone to settle into the circle of the hip socket. So the right thigh might not be as close to your belly, but that's all right. Then stretch your left leg out along the mat. The left leg is reaching for earth as best it can. Extend out, down into the mat with a sense of longing for more stability in the body. And just release the right leg, bend the left knee, right foot to the mat, and switch sides. Bring your left leg in, knee bent, clasp behind. Again, pay attention to the ball of the left femur bone, thigh bone, longest bone in your body. That ball settling down into the back of the hip socket. You can even use your hands and slightly push the leg towards the hip, and then take your right leg out long onto the mat. May or may not reach first thing in the morning all the way down to the mat. That's okay, but the energy of it is down to the stability of the earth. Soften your shoulders if they're clenched. And release your left leg, left foot on the mat, right foot on the mat. Bend your knees again. Now grab your strap. Take the right foot into the strap and take the strap right at the place where the heel and the arch meet. And then slowly stretch your right leg. And again, remember, this is early in practice. I have not done anything for my hamstring today, and I can feel the difference than when I, at the end of practice. So just go with yourself. We're looking for earth and grounding. So from the strap that's around the base of the arch, where the arch and the heel meet, draw from the strap through the leg towards the floor, and again, settle the femur bone, the very ball of the femur bone, deeper towards the floor, as if it could go through the back of the hip socket into the mat. The hip socket is a ball and socket joint, right? And it's got a lot of bone around it to give us as much stability as possible while still allowing us to walk, sit, stand, have babies, those kinds of things. You'll notice there's not as much bone around the shoulder socket because we don't need to walk on our hands. Take the strap just in your left hand and then straighten your left leg out, and then guide your right leg just a couple of inches to the left. You can feel the earth quality of the body, right? The density of your body. Right hand can rest on the mat. And then bring your right leg back up and release it from the strap. Bend both knees and switch sides. Bring the left foot up, heel, so the strap is right around where the heel and the arch meet. And then stretch your left leg straight. There may be just like this shock to the density of your body of like, oh, we're starting in the hamstring. Hello. A little awakening. But then peeling your toes back, again, from the place where the strap is meeting, draw through the calf and shin, up through the kneecap, up through the thigh, to the ball of the femur, resting in the hip socket, the acetabulum, which is perfectly carved out for you. Your body, the femur bone and the acetabulum carve each other as they calcify. And the thigh bone towards the back of the hip socket. Let it settle down towards the floor. So imagine you could feel the support of earth rising all the way up to your hip and up through your leg as the leg settles down into it. Then stretch your right leg out. Take the strap in just your right hand and take the left leg a couple of inches over to the right side. And you're in charge. If it's too much sensation, then back off. Be with your breath again. Bring your left leg back up to the center, bend your right knee, take the strap off of your left, and bring your left leg back down. And again, just feel the earth beneath your feet. Put the strap out of the way, roll off to one side, and come all the way around to hands and knees now. Now these 4 points meeting the earth, 2 hands, 2 knees, very stable position. Line up your knees directly under your hips and your hands directly under your shoulders, the outer shoulders. And then just again, feel for the earth coming right up underneath of you, holding you. You belong to her, and that is so stable. It's not going to change. Clawing down with the hands, inhale, lift your heart, reach up, look up. And exhale, scoop your tail round through your spine, look in. Inhale, heart forward, reach through your spine and look up. And exhale, round, look in. Keep some part of your attention on those places. You can continue on your own breath pace on those places that are touching the floor, touching the mat. Go back to that image we worked with last time of the mat being soft moss or rich sand that you dig yourself into, that holds you with stability. After your next inhale, come into a neutral spine and take your left leg straight back behind you. Make it firm. Curl your left toes under so they're digging into the sand, and then give a little push back. So you reach your left heel back further. Then shift forward and lift your left leg up. So keep the earthy quality, the stable quality. Draw from the foot into the core, and then take your right arm forward. So we've reduced how much foundation there is. That requires you to find stability within your body in a different way. Don't let the hips shift off to the right. Bring your right hand down, bring your left leg down, and take your right foot back. And curling the toes under, press back. So you give the calf just a little awakening. Hello, calf. Welcome into the day. And then shift forward, lift your right leg up. Firm the right leg. So it's very earthy, stable, strong in the right leg. Then take your left arm forward. Notice how this requires some stability to enter your body. You can't stay here without stabilizing through your hand, your knee, your foot, and your core. Then lower left hand down, right leg down. Take a round of cat and cow. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, dive into the stable, safe haven of your own heart. And inhale, come forward. Again, let's go arm and leg at the same time now. So left leg, right arm, right out. firm the leg and the arm, yeah. And it's all right if you're unstable. We're just introducing the idea of stability. So if you're wobbling, no problem. Right hand down, left knee down, switch. Breathe. Breath stays stable as like a breeze that blows through. And lower down. Let's go back again. Right hand forward, left leg back. And then switch again. Left hand, right leg. And switch. So just a little faster. And switch, left arm. And switch, right arm. Notice if your hips and spine are moving a lot, left arm. See if you can get it to be really quiet. One more time each side, right arm and left arm. And come back to the center. Take inhale, heart forward, lift up. Exhale back to child's pose just for 2 breaths. Allow your forehead to rest down on the mat and be held. Release all the weight of your head down into the floor. Your earth is your sacred home. She will always hold you. You always belong. Let that stabilize you. And take both arms forward on the mat. Come forward and step back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in downward facing dog. Feel your hands in connection to the mat, and then reach one heel and the other. Take your time. Switch back and forth as you root one heel even closer to the mat. Once you've done each side evenly, so maybe it's just 2 or 3 times, rooting the heels back, come back into neutral. Make the arms really, really firm. So the stability from the hands, from that connection of the earth, rises up through both arms. So pull up through both arms into the base of your heart and pool your energy there, your power there. And from the power of the heart, reach down through arms. Take your hips back, thighs back, heels back, down. And then slowly walk your hands back to meet your feet. Feel every connection to the earth as the hands move back. It's like a walking meditation through your hands until you're in standing forward bend at the back of your mat. Inhale and reach your heart halfway forward. Exhale and fold. Now reach around back towards your blanket and bring your blanket right onto the mat, right behind your heels. There we go. We're going to use it in a minute, but now it's there. Pushing down into the feet, inhale, rise up. And exhale, join your palms in front of your heart. Now take walking meditation to the top of the mat. So feel every transfer of weight. Feel stability under your feet holding you. Sense of belonging to the earth as you walk forward. And just feel the connection of your feet on the mat. Then step clearly into Tadasana, feet parallel in hip distance. Release your arms. Inhale and lift up, legs strong. Exhale and fold over and pause. With your fingertips on the mat, hover a moment and really look down at your feet. Make your feet strong and steady. And then from the 4 corners of both feet, today we're really working with bringing the stability up. So lift your kneecaps, lift the leg muscles up and in towards your core. Now inhale and stretch your heart forward and step your left leg back, come into lunge, but keep that same quality of lifting up. Now, hopefully the blanket is far enough back that it's not going to cause you trouble, but if it's in your way, you just kick it out of the way. Deep breath in. Exhale to soften a bit so we're not overly rigid in our stability, but then with stability, squeeze the leg muscles onto the bones and hug them, pull up into the core. Keep that left thigh goes wider, right hip back, and push down into both legs as you stretch your spine a little bit more. Push off your left foot and hover it up off the mat as you step to standing forward bend. So there's just a moment of like a hover, and then place the left foot back down. That helps to awaken the right leg. Inhale, heart forward, and exhale, step back with the right leg, lunge. Inhale, and just again, as if you're standing in soft moss, it's touching with care. Feeling the support of the earth beneath you draw up through both legs into the core of your pelvis. And then take your right hip wider, your left hip back. Press down, but lengthen your spine. So the tricky thing is, as we do earth practice, not to let your head just hang, right? To allow your head to stay engaged and lengthened, or the neck to stay lengthened. Push off your right foot, let it hover just above Uttanasana, and then place it back down. Inhale, heart halfway forward. Keep the legs stable as you exhale and fold over them. Now take your arms wide and come all the way up to standing. Inhale. And exhale, palms together in front of the heart center. Moving into earth salutation. Release the arms. Inhale, lift up. Exhale and fold into Uttanasana. Legs steady. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, back plank. Hopefully you've got just enough room that you're not hitting the blanket. Yeah, good. Feel the stability of earth rising up through both arms and both legs, meeting in the core. And keep that as you lower slowly down. Exhale. Reach all the way out along the mat for just a moment, or actually off the mat, arms forward. Even put your forehead or your nose down if you can handle it. So you just feel the fullness of the earth, and then pull the arms back, reach and clasp hands behind, and inhale, lift up into Shalabhasana. So feet press down. Again, as if they're pressing down into rich soil. Exhale and lower, bring your hands under your shoulders, curl your toes and go back to downward facing dog. And now your heels might be starting to meet your blanket, that's okay. Feel stability of the hands, where the hands and the floor meet. It's like a meeting of earth and earth. The earthiness of your body meets the earthiness of the floor. Pull up with stability through the arms to the base of the heart. Now, walk your heels back so that they are on the blanket and take them a little wide. They can be as wide as the mat. You might even turn your feet out slightly as you go. And then slowly walk the hands back. And as you do, sink down into Malasana squat. If it's too much this time, first thing in the morning, just come into standing forward bend. But if you can be here, there we go, good. Get really earthy. If you don't need the blanket, you just take the blanket away. So feel the deep earthiness of the squat, pushing the arms into the legs, and then inhale and stand up. So you can take the arms in a circle, push down, inhale, rise up, and then walk slowly forward. Hands coming to the heart center as you do. Feel each step along the way. Place the feet clearly in Tadasana and release your arms. Inhale, lift. Steady legs, nothing changes. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, back plank pose. Step with the weird foot. Get steady with the arms and the body so the stability from earth comes up into you. Feel it. Make the whole musculature steady and strong. Lift your head. Exhale, lower. Stretch fully out, tops of the feet down, hands down, head down. Just feel the earth beneath, and then slide your hands back. They'll have to slip up onto the mat and continue to slide as your heart curls forward. Cobra, like a little snake coming out of its burrow. Exhale, downward facing dog. Try not to uproot your hands as you make the transition, and feel the firmness of earth coming up through the legs as well, not just the arms, but the legs as well. And press the tops of the thighs deeper into the back of the hip socket like we did in the beginning. Now slowly walk yourself back, paying attention to each placement of your hands. Sit back into Malasana. And join palms at the heart. Lift the heart up, but anchor yourself down as much as you can. Excellent, good. And then press down through the legs, stretch the arms. Inhale, rise up. Walk to the top of the mat again. This time you can play with what we call fox walking, which is almost like the foot doesn't even come up off the floor. It just glides, toes first. A little different than heel to toe. Meet at the top, Tadasana. Release your arms and inhale, reach up, rise up. Feel the earth holding you steady. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Steady legs. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, back plank. Inhale and plank, make the whole body firm. Exhale, lower chaturanga and pause. Feel as if the stability of earth is coming up through your body to hold you here. Then down. Stretch fully out, all the way out. Just a moment of feeling the earth completely. Then slide hands back and slide up into cobra. Inhale, like a snake curling out of the dark burrow. Exhale, downward facing dog. There's nothing that can destabilize your belonging. You always belong. The more we connect in with the stability of body, the more we're going to feel that. And the stability of earth. Take your feet onto your blanket, walk your hands slowly back. Sit back, Malasana, squat. You lift the heart. Good, and then if you're feeling more connection, so you can either just stay in Malasana or slide the hands forward, feel earth under hands, come on up, Bakasana. Why not? And it's super stable. You're already kind of earthy. And then just sit back, Malasana. Push down into the legs. Inhale, heart up, reach up, stand up. And exhale right here. Go back to Malasana. Squat. And then back out to downward facing dog. So just walk yourself back out. Excellent. Inhale and take your right leg high in three-leg dog. So you can keep your blanket there if it doesn't annoy you. If it does, just kick it off, it's fine. And then step your right foot forward, come into lunge. Now bring your back heel down for warrior one. So super stable pose, right? Back heel comes down. Let's bring the hands to the hips as you lift up your torso. Make sure your left foot is a little bit off to the left, right leg is bent. Yep, take a deep breath. Soften some, and we can appreciate the stability of this pose, right? We're not really going anywhere in this pose. Legs strong, left hip left, bring your right hip back. And the hips are never going to be completely square, don't worry about it, but they're moving in that direction. It's just a good energetic, good visual. Bend the front knee, and as you pull up from the legs, feel the deep support from the earth holding you. Then take your arms up for Virabhadrasana 1. Yeah. So instead of fighting with the stability, the stickiness of this pose, really draw in from it, right? It's holding you. You're super grounded in this pose. Pull up from the feet to the core. From the core now, push back down as if you were like pushing your feet down and out on the mat, like they're going to separate. Like you're digging into rich soil. And lift your heart, reach up through the fingertips. Yeah. Exhale, reach down, touch the mat, step back to downward facing dog. So the hands are placed again with care. Stability rises up through both arms into the base of the heart, and inhale, take the left leg high without reducing stability in the right arm. If anything, make it stronger. Then step forward, come into lunge. Bring your back foot in a little bit, turn it out, and come up for warrior one. Again, you bring your hands to your hips. Take a breath to open, right, to deep belonging. And then firming the legs, take your right thigh wider to the right hip wider to the right, left hip back more. Scoop your tail, lift up, reach up, Virabhadrasana 1. I've always heard this, but I don't know if it's true because I've never heard the actual myth, but I've heard that this pose is named for a sage who was stuck in rock. He was super stable, like he's locked in rock. And then he's got to shoot his way out. So push down through both legs and feet. so much that you reach upwards more. See if you can bend your front knee a little more. You know, that part's hard. Good, exhale, reach down, touch the mat. Now the choice to step to down dog or to go through like one of these earth vinyasas. So you come all the way down, reach out for a moment, you feel a whole body on the earth, then curl back up to cobra. Back to down dog. Good, if you're waiting in down dog, go ahead and come to Malasana with us, walk back. Bend knees, Malasana, lift your heart. And then either hang in Malasana or place the hands, come forward, Bakasana. Earthy, earthy, earthy. And then back to Malasana. And then let's just walk the hands right back out, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. You're feeling the touch of the earth. This time, bend the right knee, take the right foot over, and again, stabilize in the left arm, in the left leg. Right knee to your nose, hover a moment. Step through lunge. Back heel down, Parsvakonasana. So right forearm, right thigh, turn the hips. Take a deep breath in and open. And find stability in the legs. From the earth, so imagine the earth is coming up under your mat to hold you. And then continue that pulling in to the core of your pelvis. Both inner thighs back, scoop your tail, lift your low belly and spin. Take your top arm up and over. And take the right hand to the mat or keep it where it is, your choice. But actually, the more you want to like extend the hips and extend the spine, the more stability you need. So keep drawing in first, then reach out. Long spine, long heart. So the stability of the body transfers to being able to get into the deeper, more stable parts of the heart. We need that when we're working with, other humans. Exhale, hand down. Or puppies. Puppies, could use a stable heart too. Step back, downward facing dog. Or kittens. Lots of pets around here. Inhale, take your left leg high. Bend your left knee. Take your left foot over towards the right. Right arm stays stable to keep you here. Right leg stable, even right hip hugging in, stable. Then step forward, lunge. Spin your back heel down and bring your your left forearm to your left thigh, Parsvakonasana. Deep breath. Imagine the earth just coming up like a mountain rising from the sea, up under your legs, that continues up through the legs, so leg muscles firm around the bones, through the legs to the core of your pelvis. That's the center of gravity. Keep that inner thighs back, tail in, and reach out. Melt your right ribs down. And as the legs stay stable, 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 push into them to spin your heart more. And we need this kind of stability to start to be a little bolder, more confident in our lives. Like if we feel really stable in ourselves, it's easier to go for what we want or what's necessary, even if it feels hard. Good, exhale, hand down. Again, choice to go through that earth vinyasa or go straight to downward facing dog. I'll talk you through the earth vinyasa. You just lower to your belly. Of course, child's pose is an option. Arms all the way out so you feel the earth. Then curl up cobra. Try not to move your hands between cobra and down dog. So it helps to feel really stable. And then just hit down or connect with down dog and start walking back right away. Malasana, sit deep. Lift the heart, and then Bakasana option. Just touching it, and then stretch back to Malasana. And walk all the way back out, downward facing dog. Again, inhale, right leg high, 3-leg dog. Exhale it forward into lunge. Step your back foot in a little bit and straighten both legs. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. So of course, if you want your blocks, just like adding earth underneath you. Totally good. Open to a sweet breath, like a breeze, a sweet spring breeze blowing through. You know, we're asking a lot. We're asking you to stabilize a ton in this practice. We want to stay soft with it at the same time, interiorly. Then feel how the right hip will move off to the right, and that'll lift your right big toe ball mound. So instead of that, hug your right hip in and push your right big toe ball mound down. Squeeze the leg muscles around the bones, lift up from the legs, from the feet into the pelvis, and see if you can free your hands up off the mat and clasp them behind. Lift, shoulders lift, arms bow over. This requires a little more stability, and the stability comes where? It comes from the earth up and from the muscles, the earthiness of the muscles hugging into the density of your bones, which are actually fluid filled. We'll get there. All right, last step of this, right hand to your sacrum, left hand on the inside or the outside of the right leg, twist towards the right. And take your right arm up, revolved Trikonasana, triangle pose. Push down into the earth, hug your right hip in. Whew. Exhale, fingertips back down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Claw with your hand. Enjoy your breath. Inhale, left leg high, three-leg dog. Exhale, step forward, lunge. Back foot steps in. Straighten both legs. Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. So you can look and see how your connection to earth is going just by like the shape of your left foot. You know, if it's kind of flattening out like a pancake, or the ankle is rolling in or out, you know you're not quite as connected to earth as you could be. So try lifting your left toes. And notice how that creates the arches in the feet. Keep that, and now hug the left outer hip, the left buttock, in. Oh, that's exciting. And then the toes come back down, but the arches stay, the hip stays hugged in. Stabilize through your leg and release your hands up, clasp them, and bow. Bringing deep stability into the body so that you can carry it, become like a vessel of deep stability on the planet. And as we move through each of these natural elements, we'll find how they balance each other. You know, you don't want just stability, but you need some or a lot. Left hand to your sacrum, right hand on the inside or the outside of the left leg. Stretch your spine first, long, and then twist to the left. Take the left arm up. Or not, hug your left hip in and back. That's it, good. Exhale, lower. Again, the option to do this earth vinyasa, or to go to down dog, or to child's pose. Your earth vinyasa, aim you lower. Stretch fully out just to feel the earth holding you. Draw back into cobra. Try not to move the hands from cobra to down dog. Walk back, malasana. Sit deep. Lift the heart. Yeah, then you shift forward, bakasana. And shift back, malasana. Let's see where we're headed. All right, and then let's walk out again to downward facing dog. Earthy like a little animal. All right, arms steady and strong. Everybody's in down dog now. Good. Take your right leg high. Step forward into lunge. Come up into crescent this time. So really place the right foot so it's got the stability you need to lift you up. And then hugging the right hip in, lift the arms. We did this last week. I call it the karate move. I don't know the best way to call it. But you're going to step onto your right foot and hover your left foot up ahead of you. And you want to do it in kind of a swift motion. You might take a couple of tries. I did not succeed on that one, so I'm going to try again. Try it like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, you can keep the knee bent at first. Do it one more time. So lots of stability in the right leg, all the way up under the right hip. Good. Now take your left hand to your left knee. Either keep your left hand on your left knee or bring your left hand to your left toe and slowly stretch left leg. Feel the earth coming up under your right leg to hold you. Stable. Slowly take the left leg out to the left. Remember, it doesn't have to be 180 degrees out to the side. Hug your right hip in. Stabilize up from the earth into your core, and then bring your leg forward again. Bend your knee. See if you can step back to crescent. You know. Good. Touch the mat, downward facing dog. And switch, left leg high, inhale. Exhale, forward to lunge. Plant the left foot. You know you're going to be standing on it for like a half an hour now. So it's really stable. Inhale up into crescent. Squeeze under the left butt. That's going to help. And then like 3 rounds to come up into this kind of karate move. You'll notice you'll get more stable each time you do it because your body gets smart. I think I also shortened my lunge, and that makes it easier. Once you've done 3, you can take your left hand to your hip, right hand to your right knee. And again, you're going to press the thigh bone back on the left side, pull up from the earth into your core, and either keep your hand on your knee or take your hand to your foot and stretch your right leg straight. Breathe. So here's earth underneath coming up to hold you. You're not doing this on your own. You're not fighting gravity. Be with it. And slowly open right leg to the right. You are stable and supported. Bring the right leg back forward. Bend the right knee, step way back. Crescent. And last, vinyasa, if you want a vinyasa, or straight to down dog or child's pose. And again, you can do this earth vinyasa, or you can go earth salutation, I like to call it, or you can go through regular. Hands don't move in the transition. Maybe walking back, you're either hovering in down dog or walk back one more time to Malasana, Bakasana. Yeah, just a moment in Malasana, a moment in Bakasana. Back to Malasana. And then wherever you are, make your way to child's pose. Kind of wondering how I can just tip my Malasana over, but it doesn't want to do that. Find the earth here. Like a child of the earth. Here you are being held through all of those shapes and forms and twists and turns and instabilities of finding new ways, returning to old ways. The earth has been completely stable beneath you. What a gift. Slowly walk yourself back out to hands and knees. Feel the stability of those 4 corners. And then lower your elbows and interlace your fingers. Inhale, lengthen the shoulders, lengthen the side ribs so your shoulders come fully over your elbows, and there's that, the stability of lining up the bones cannot be denied. Then upper back soft. Walk your feet back to forearm plank, and if you bump into your blanket, just kick it out of the way. We don't need it anymore. Here we go. Make sure your head's not drooping down. Good. Squeeze the legs. Slowly walk up to a dolphin. So the stability in the shoulders doesn't change. We just add a little more weight to them, but it gets a lot easier on the core. So it's a nice trade-off, I find. So from the outer wrists, pushing down onto the mat, squeeze up through the arms to the base of the heart. Base of the heart is again the focal point of this pose, center of gravity. Hips go up, make the legs still firm. Now shoot your heart forward as you walk your legs back to forearm plank. Good, feel the earth underneath. A little bit resisting gravity. And then walk back up, dolphin, as long as the shoulders are tolerating. If not, you rest. Hug the bottom tips of the shoulder blades into the back of the heart. And then walk back out, forearm plank, heart forward, head up slightly. Now lower both knees and come to seated. So you can grab your blanket, unroll it, sit on it, or sit on a block, whatever you need to do. Don't sit down yet, just have the blanket close. And we're coming to Gomukhasana. So this is, you all know that I like to get into it this way. The right knee comes forward, the left knee comes behind, separate the feet and then sit back. So if you need to have the blanket, you just slide it under there. Yeah. Now your feet can come more and more forward, or actually closer and closer underneath of you. One version of the pose is the feet parallel to the front of the mat. Another version is actually sitting on the legs. It's actually quite challenging. I'm going to walk my feet forward for this one today. Find the sitting bones again. Yeah, remember in the beginning. So notice most of the times we'll be rocked forward on sitting bones. See if you can sit right up on them. And from the earth coming up under your sit bones, lengthen your spine. Take your arms out to the sides. Left palm goes up, left thumb goes up, right thumb goes down. Reach up and around, possibly clasping hands. If you need to, you can add a strap. Here you go. Also, this is an option. I'm interested in the earthy meatiness of the tricep muscle on the left side getting some stretch. And then wrap your left shoulder back. Sorry, right shoulder, both shoulders. Go long spine and then exhale to come a little forward. And you're in charge. It can be a little or a lot. It can be none. But do notice if you're unearthing yourself, ungrounding yourself by allowing the buttocks to fly up or the sit bones to fly up. And that's, if you can reground. Inhale and come back up. Release your arms and switch your legs. I like to just come forward. You can turn or twist. I feel like this one with the knees crossing. So now the left knee's in front, the right knee goes under. This one gets me really tight into the pose in a way that when I try to do it just seated, I can't quite get. So that's why I like this one. Yeah. Bring your right foot a little forward if it's possible. And again, we start with just settling. Fingertips can rest on the floor. Here's earth stably holding. So let the sitting bones drop down so that there's a lightness of spine. And feel the earth coming up, and then it extends all the way up through your spine to the top of your head. Now take arms out to the side. Left palm turns to the back, so left thumb is down. And that one slides around and behind. Right arm up and over. Gomukhasana. Keep guiding your right armpit back and then your right elbow back. And sit up tall. Then without uprooting, shift forward. consciously notice the stability in a pose like this. Your legs are locked in place, the arms are locked in place. And that promotes more stability. Interestingly, it helps us to open too. When we feel more stable in our lives, much easier to be open to others, be open to new ideas. Everything feels unstable, like a whirlwind. You can feel so off balance that you can't even be open to anything. Just get rigid. Inhale, lift back up. Release the arms. Good, take your legs out. Bend your left knee and draw it back, opening up the hips just a little bit to come to Janu Shirshasana. You can use your strap if you need to. So again, as we did earlier, we want to now help the thigh to find the mat. So first turn your inner thighs down and wide. And then particularly on the right side, settle the right thigh bone down. You can even push down on it. That sometimes feels good. So long connection to soft earth beneath. Turn towards the right leg. Inhale your left arm up and then come forward to Janu Shirshasana on this right side. So the forward folds are a class of poses that have lots of variety in how they are expressed, maybe more than any other class of poses. Lots of range in people's bodies. And the intent here is that you continue to use the pose as a vehicle for building your relationship to the earth in this particular practice. So it doesn't have to be my nose is on my knee and my hands are past my foot. It doesn't have to be anything, but the intent is, can you stay connected to the ground here? Can you feel that stability? Transferring up as if your whole leg is growing roots down into soil, but then transfers up and steadies you, stabilizes your heart, your mind, your spirit. Now take your left hand on the outside of your right leg, can be on your pinky toe, can be on the floor, can be at your knee, and take your right arm forward and then sweep it around, take a little twist. That may be a big thing, that may be not very much. And turn your gaze towards your right hand. Long spine. And exhale, unwind, and sit up tall. Take your left leg forward, bring your right leg back, open up. Turn your inner thigh towards the mat. And find the earth beneath your leg. Let your leg press down into the floor. Good, sit up tall. Inhale, right arm up, twist. Exhale, fold. Emphasis on the connection to the earth. The hips heavy. The earthiness of your your left leg engages. So even the left quadricep engages. Pull your kneecap up towards your hip. We can get so enamored with the outside form and what we think it's supposed to look like that we forget all these beautiful details and the ways that the poses help us. So very much not about like some end range. Very much about the journey, the experience. Now take your right hand on the outside. It can be on the foot, it can be on the ankle, it can be on the floor. Take your left arm straight forward and sweep it around and open. So I've come up a little bit. You can play with how vertical you are. Turn your left palm towards the wall, the side wall. Lengthen through your spine, shoulders back. Full breath. And then exhaling, release. And inhale, come back up. Add your bent leg back to the front. All right, so we're come to Sirsasana, headstand. So all this earthiness, right? And I'm going to flip you over, put you on your head. The idea is to find now, can you still find the earth through your head? So choices, of course, you can do legs up the wall if it's not a good time of the month for you to be practicing, or if it's just not a good day for you to be practicing headstand. Other option is to move to the wall. I do recommend folding your mat over. You don't have to go to the wall. You can stay in the center of the room if that's where your practice is. But I would love for us to play with, we'll do it twice. So let's just do the first one regular. Of course, you can stick with your headstand if you need to. I mean, not your headstand, that's where we're going. Dolphin. Good God. All right, so let's start with place the foundation. Everybody's pretty set. Yep. All right, place your foundation really clearly. Interlace your fingers. And feel the earth. That's the key, feel the earth. Big breath in, and then melting between the shoulder blades. Soften your heart, but keep the shoulders aligned over the elbows. Now lift your knees, walk yourself in, either stay in dolphin or place your head down, and now your head's got to find the earth. So really press down through your head, then come up, and that can be one leg at a time, that can be both legs, that can be curl into a ball, that can be light hop or kick up to the wall, lots of options. But as soon as you get up there, find the earth. I know there's a lot going on above the earth, but go to the earth. Forearms are down. Press the top of the head into the floor. And again, drink up and let that then transfer up through your whole torso, abdomen, hips, thighs, legs, feet. So the earth goes all the way up to your feet. From the floor up. Be gentle if you're kicking up. Just be easy with yourself. Yeah, good. So also the action of that sense of the earthiness of body. So the density, make your muscles firm. Not in a like overdoing it kind of way, but that's what's going to help you stay there. Awesome. Yeah. And then you are subtle. So, right, like this stability is here. Have some subtleness to it too. When you make adjustments or changes. If you've come down, just wait because we're going to all come down and go again. Yeah. Okay. Then, yeah, if you are still up, you can slowly, Gretchen, that is just such control. Come on down as you're ready and rest a moment. It's fun, isn't it? It's like you've been like all down low in the earth, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, this is a whole other experience. But I find that getting into the legs can give that headstand a different kind of lightness, a different kind of ease. So everyone was successful, good for you. Next option, if you are feeling like you want to go further, if you're off the wall, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask, shout them out, is to play with one leg at a time. So you're here. Yeah, my hair is the biggest obstacle. So again, it's earth of the forearms, earth of the top of the head, and then I'm just going to take one leg up and the other. Whoop, hello. Okay, so here, drawing from the earth all the way up. Keep the earth going through one leg. See if it's possible to bring the other leg where you can see it. Where you can see the toe. And then back up. So the leg that stayed in the air is like a lightning rod or something. It's like not changing. It's got to stay really, 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 really stable. The earth goes all the way up to that leg. So
Sarah,
yes.
would you not recommend it then if you can't do it without the leg in the air, like off the wall?
I think as long as you're not feeling like a crushing weight in your shoulders or neck,
Mhm.
as long as that feels pretty light, then yes, you can work that. You just really activate the heel on the wall and make it really, really solid so that it's like glue, right? But yeah, you can try it that way too. That's how you'll learn it.
I'm getting the balance, but I find that when I lose it, like usually one leg comes down and it comes down fast. So I'm afraid that
Yeah.
it'll just take me right out.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you can, I mean, I'm really thinking about the leg that's up. And the
Yeah.
other one just has to go so slow. So yeah, that might be the way to kind of help yourself stay there.
Okay.
Yeah, give it a shot. Okay, so as you're ready, off you go. Be good to yourself. So as I was saying to Julie, what you want to feel is that the forearms are down, top of the head is down, and you have this strong, stable support, right? Strong, stable support. And that is not then crushing down. You don't feel a lot of extra weight on your head. Y'all, this looks great. You're not feeling a lot of extra weight on your head. There's weight on your head, but not too much. Yeah. Yeah, and you can do it more than once if you're up there. Yeah, that looks so good, Julie, good, yeah. And that can help you, learn how to connect into your core so that when you do start to fall over because a leg is coming down off the wall, you may be able to save yourself. Not save yourself, but not fall if you don't want to. Lane, see if you can bring your buttocks a little away from the wall and really use the heel. Yeah, there. Then you're more upright, but it did take you over. But yeah. Yeah. Sherry, hug the legs towards the midline some. That may help. Yes, they're kind of separating. Yeah, that's it, Lane. And you keep that. And your leg might not come all the way down to where you can see it, but it's like you got to use your glutes to keep your butt off the wall. Hard. And there is a little shift back, but you don't want to do too much shift back or a huge amount of shift back. Yeah, that's good. That's it, Sherry. That looks good. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, really good. All right, as you are ready, looks like everybody's mostly down except Lane. You can take a moment in your child's pose if you didn't. And then come on back to your space. When you come back, have a strap close. For me, that image of really the earth coming up underneath and then traveling up through the whole body all the way to the feet is just really, really supportive in the headstand. So don't know if that's true for you, but it was for me. Come to a seated position. You can have your blanket to sit on if you need it. And again, strap is close. It's an optional prop in just a moment. So one little seated series before we come down onto the back. So good. Bring your right leg in as if you're going to sit, left leg in as if you're going to sit cross-legged, and then turn the inner thigh down and sit up onto the sit bone. Take your right hand to your right foot, just move it in and out a little bit. So remember at the very beginning, we settled your femur bone into the back of the thigh socket and back of the hip socket, excuse me. Just remembering that for a second here. And then once you get it back, open the knee and come around to baby cradle. So you can be here, leg can be quite low, or you may be able to come all the way up into the baby cradle. It wasn't a hip opening focused class, but it's not impossible that baby cradle could be here. Spread your toes. And then again, bring your mind's eye to your sitting bones and just push your sitting bones down and notice how that, might give you a little more lift. One of the things that happens with baby cradle is sometimes your back will hurt, and that just means you gotta use the leg more to lift up or lower your leg, because if your back is hurting, it just means you're like yanking your leg a ton, and that's, gonna hurt over time. We don't want to do that. You might want to give your baby a little rock. That feels good. Or, take the knee a little more towards the center, and that'll change where the stretch is in the body, in the hip. Oof. All right, let's straighten the bottom leg. And then step your right foot to the outside of your left leg. Get really stable on the sitting bones again. Take your left arm up and either wrap or hook your arm and twist around to the right. Now, what could be really helpful and supportive for your lumbar spine is actually if you don't twist the very low part of your spine. You actually just twist from about the rib cage up. Lumbar stays stable. And that's particularly if you have unstable sacrum, really open hips. You just want to add that little bit of stability to keep you from overdoing it. Inhale, untwist. Take your right leg out. And then bend it in. We'll do the other side. Just take your hand to the bottom of the left foot. Do a little in and out with the left leg. Right leg's in like a cross-legged position. And once you've done this, then wrap it around and come to baby cradle. Remember, in baby cradle, tip your pinky toes out away from your body. And if it's causing a lot of strain in your back, the midsection of your back, just lower your leg, hold it with your hand. And if that's really not doing anything for you, you can be in like a cross-legged and forward fold rather than strain up your back. That's options. Breathe. Again, push the sitting bones into the welcome support of the earth and let that help you lengthen. And you may open the knee and bend it a little bit, and also do a little bit of rocking, or even I just play with bringing my knee more across my body, and that changes the whole thing. Nice. All right, stretch out right leg, place the left foot down, and anchor left sitting bone. Then remember, lumbar is not going to turn, so inhale right arm up, either wrap or hook, and twist from about the ribs around. Let the low part of the spine stay still. Root your right thigh to the mat. Bring the stability of the earth up through your spine to the top of your head, and even turn your head to look over your left shoulder. And return in this direction. It's like looking out to the future. Can we be centered? Can we be stable and grounded for whatever will come? The yoga helps. That's why we get on the mat as often as we can. Inhale, untwist. Bring this leg back out. Okay, so let's do this with you have options. Option one is to sit over a little bit towards the left side of the mat. Left sitting bone stays on the mat, but the left leg comes alongside. This is a more challenging option to bend the knee back into like a Virasana, so you're in a quad stretch position. That's option 5,000. Option A, a little gentler, is more like a Janu Shirshasana leg. So either one, optional. Bend your right knee, strap is close if you need it, and come back, and you're just going to bend and straighten like we did before. Settling this time though, as you bend, bring your right knee back, like towards behind your rib cage, if you can. It's not like a rock. It's not like a turning of the body so much as the leg just moving in the hip socket. And then keeping the groundedness, we're going to come to Crouch Asana, which is heron pose, which is straightening the legs. So sitting up as tall as you possibly can. Think of the right thigh bone in the hip socket, down to the floor and forward, and then slowly straighten right leg. And you can take the elbows wide. Good. Sitting bones down. Transfer earth up through the leg and up through the spine. Lift your heart. Really press the leg strong. Another breath, sit bones down, heart up. Good. And then exhale and release. Take your left leg out. And if you're going to that folded in leg position, you just shift over so you're on the outer edge of the mat on the right side. Right leg bends back into Virasana, or it can be in Janu Shirshasana. Yeah, Virasana is more the classical version of that pose. Bend the left knee. You're just going back. And so bending and straightening with the knee coming back towards the outer edge of the rib cage. Not so much rocking, turning the body. Body stays, leg moves. Good, then planting the sit bones down, bend your knee. Sit bones down. And then thigh bone down towards the floor and forward. Slowly straighten left leg. Allow earth to rise up through the spine. Yeah, so the sit bones down, make a deep connection to earth, and then lift up through it. Lift your heart towards your thigh, towards your whatever is up, which might not be anything, and that's okay too. Crouchasana. Good, bend your knee. Exhale, release it. And let's take Paschimottanasana. Take both legs out. Sitting bones down, fingertips down for a moment. Lift your heart. Yeah, you can roll the thighs. Thank you all for doing that. Arms up. Transfer earth up your spine. Here you go. Go back down to earth, 2 through spine. And then bow forward, exhale. And that can be subtle bow, that can be full body bow. If it is available to you, you can hold the bottoms of the feet, hold the pinky toe sides, lift the elbows, allow the heart to glide through the window of the arms. And deeply anchor your legs. Anchor them to the mat, down, 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 like roots growing through the leg bones into the floor. Notice as you do that, how the spine is able to soften a little, release even more, because there is that stable, loving hold. Let your breath be easy. Feel how you belong right here in this body, on this earth, held in your own heart, in the great heart universe.
Inhale, lengthen up slowly through your spine. Bend your knees and come onto your back on the mats. Actually, before we come to our backs, come to child's pose one more time. If it feels uncomfortable to have your forehead all the way down, just put a block under your forehead. But go to child's pose, and again, this time, allow yourself to release as much as possible without causing pain or harm. So you might need to have a little squeeze of your shins towards each other to support your hips. If you don't need that, just release. Make it a restorative moment. The earth can hold anything you want to give her. If there's anything that is causing you difficulty, making you agitated, feels so unstable that it's hard to handle, imagine it pouring through the place where your forehead and the floor meet and being absorbed by the loving, stable embrace of the earth. And slowly make your way onto your back. Stay low to the ground. When you get there, you can hug your knees in. Either baby cradle or like a ball. Allow the thigh bones to return to their home in the hip sockets. As that feels complete, gently release yourself out along the mat. And for this Shavasana, I recommend connecting with as much earth as possible. So even if you usually put your hands on your belly, you might open them out. If you usually prop your legs, even if, as long as it doesn't hurt, I recommend not. So once you've found your position of stillness, again, imagine that you're resting back into soft moss or luxurious sand, if that's more your style. But underneath of that is the power of the earth to raise mountains, rising up underneath of you, meeting you exactly where you are. Let go. Surrender into that deepest, primal support. Let yourself be held like a baby being cradled. And let go of anything that keeps you separate. So you now move into your heart to rest for Shavasana.
Feel your consciousness landing in the earthy density of your body. And send your breath through. Very gently move your fingers, move your toes. And staying grounded, stretch, move, awaken. Bend your knees and come over to your right side. Pause. And see how connected you can stay to earth as you come back up. So feel it with your hands helping you, and then the sit bones in strong connection to the mat or the seat. Again, imagine, as you find your seat, again, imagine a mountain rising up from the depths of the earth, rising up right underneath of you and pushing up all the way up through your sit bones, up to your spine, up through your head. Held. Stable. And bring your palms now up in front of your heart. May this practice stabilize you in your heart space, so that no matter what instability comes your way this week, you always know your way home. We'll chant an Om to close together. Welcome your in-breath. Namaste. All right, all, thank you so much for practicing today.